This part 4 is going to be the last in the series of the grids and dynamics for now. I may add others later. So the TZO-Lectic. This is the newest, to my knowledge, of the major grids. Thoth usually calls it a field, but you can switch between field and grid, sometimes even matrix, but it's really kind of an interior field to a greater matrix. So let's look at it that way. I recently did a Substack on the TZO-Lectic field, but because I was making this series now, which I didn't anticipate at the time, I want to include it here as well. I'll be reading from the Substack article, which is a composition of a lot of other things I put together in the past, but then I'm going to take it further in the video. From my 2020 article on this topic, the TZO field interfaces with the Earth's Genesis field, light mathematic, at the center of the planet, within the central sun atoma, wherein is nested the planetary genius. This Genesis field light mathematic is registered within the planetary genius. Now the planetary genius, as I've said many times before, so I'm just going to touch on it here, is the gold. It's where all the higher frequencies of the planet reside, and we create those higher frequencies. They would not exist without the light engendered soulness of this earth. And when we move from a world system 1 to a world system 2, because it is still the earth, the new earth star, we take the planetary genius with us. It is our defining element. Now a Genesis field is a dynamic, intelligent energy field corresponding to the impulse of creation. It is designed by universal intelligence to create specific ordered worlds. These worlds can be microscopic or as large as giant planets. In this context, regenesis is the quickening of an original Genesis field into a new stage of evolution. Humanity can and must create an energetic reversal to the interference with our electromagnetic field in our planet and in our bodies and brains. The archonic faction of humanity is polluting and distorting the natural EMF by various means, and now with its activation of 5G, we are indeed within the darkening shadow of peril. My inner planes mentor, Thoth Hara, and his assembly of souls, which he calls Chariot of the Sun, has given to me what Thoth is calling the TZO protocol. TZO is an abbreviation for TZO-Lectic. It is a particular type of charge or signal that can be generated through the human heart chakra to connect to Gaia's heart or central sun atoma. TZO stands for, you can view this now on the screen. Around the planet, there are what Thoth is calling nodus nodes. These are natural acunodes, being enhanced and focused for specific energetic networking. Those who are guiding and operating this project are the noblest Terra Nata, NTN, a newly formed cooperative. The NTN is composed of both off-planet and inner-Earth kindred. They are assigned their powers by the Tashavaba, the Orion Blue Fire Command. Now all these names, please understand that all these names, they're not calling each other this. Thoth is giving us something to sink our teeth in, so we have something to call them rather than just numbers. So he's giving us these names, but he's chosen them carefully, so they are vibrationally correct. The NTN purpose is to work with the ongoing installation operation of the Pyramidus Radius Matrix, which I've spoken about many times. Quantum Logic Interactive, which is our project that we've been working with, is embarked upon a project being guided by Thoth through me to aid in the activation of these nodes. It is important to understand that no otherworldly being can save us. We must bend the branch, draw the water, rise up to the sun, and ultimately plant the field. Yet these shining ones and their helpmates are very much here to aid us when we take true light-engendered action on our own behalf. It is not just about transforming 5G. This TZO system, grid, and project is holistic in nature and designed to help Gaia balance the entire Earth frequency realm. It would work on everything from chemtrails to GMO pollution within the cells and DNA. And now we can include those more recent things that are coming out of the fluid in the arm, which have those proteins in them. Thoth gave us the TZO protocol. In and of itself, it cannot destroy or block the very real dangers of any of these things, any of these deadly interferences currently threatening this planet and humanity. Yet I have been shown by my beloved mentor that this protocol, in concert with all which is being created through the efforts of many within the Inner Light Network, or ILN, on the planet now, and guided by the noblest Terranata, has great potential in subverting all the dark works behind this initial action of archonic investiture. I will be placing the TZO protocol at the conclusion of this video. It is important to realize all of the current planetary woes, not just the EMF frequencies, but all of it, can be shifted by the TZO Earth Regenesis Project in concert with other dynamics and ultra technologies. All of these ills are heavily under the influencing and indeed enforcing mantle of the archonic cloud. This is a negatively charged and chaotic plasma cloud. So even the evils of mankind are hugely developed and sustained by manipulation of the electrical planet. The archonic mantle or shield over the earth, which humanity originally allowed, can be dissipated or entirely dissembled through the resetting of Earth's electrical geomagnetic fields. I wish to add some clarification at this point. He says shifted. Shifted does not mean entirely eradicated. When he's saying shifted, he means to allow the light bearers to fill the gap with incredible light forces, which creates these pyramidus radius interconnective fibers that he's speaking of as the light arcs on different lands and places where people can literally send out this light and create this frequency dynamic that gives us a platform to be able to then move into the actual light principle 40 flashpoint to transfer from a world system 1 to a world system 2. So it's not like the TZO-Lectic field and what it's doing, voila, everything's fine and we just go back to, being wonderful people and living in the Garden of Eden here. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about a major shift that allows this other factor to enter into the field, a really bright and shining factor, but one that helps us more easily transfer from a world system 1 to a world system 2. There will still be the dark clouds gathering, but the difference is, the biggest difference, is that the archonic cloud can be so fractured that it can't oversee all of that. So if that leaves to a much greater extent, if it's fractured and really not performing, then we have individual karmas and individual wills, but it's an individuality thing, and that can more easily be mitigated to form these arcs of light and separate the clouds and get that work done so that we can move on. What's happening now, you see, is the archonic cloud creates a hive mind, so to speak. I mean, not exactly, but very close to that, where those persons who are archonically invested, that means their whole magnetic body, their mental will and everything is invested in a agenda, outcome, program of dissolution. This comes out of just being saturated by the plasmic field of the archonic cloud. You and I have our moments where the archonic cloud affects us, but I'm speaking of something much more than that. Investiture means that they are invested with that energy and that the agendas that form out of it. So when the archonic cloud is dissembled to a large enough degree, that hive mind that's investing all of that disappears, or at least for all intents and purposes, it can't really function anymore. That means all of these people that were so invested in that, their magnetic bodies are still going to want to do what they were doing, and they're, because they're so charged up with it, but they don't have the background to carry it out. They don't have that hive mentality bringing them into the fold and orchestrating it. It'll just be shattered. It'll still be a mess, and there'll be souls that are just, they choose not to go. As I said, they choose not to move through the light into this new field because they've been so shattered. It's tragic, but it's how it is. They will be helped on another level and another way to recover, and then in their own time and space and planet, have another chance. So, back to the TZO-Lectic, what it does, it doesn't cure everything, but it mitigates it, and it opens the field a crack, or it's going to let in this frequency of light that will dissemble the archonic cloud, at least in our space, in Earth's territory. It's the cap that the archonic cloud has put over the planet. Now, those are a lot of words, and I hope I'm making sense here, but this is how I receive this information. Now, in 2023, the TZO has developed considerably in the last 3+ years. It is more intricately woven into the human energy field. This allows us to become more present with Gaia's heart and soul. The constant noise of artificial dissonant energy fields keeps us in a cage of distraction and disorientation. It wears us down. The TZO is now stronger and more viable, helping to shield the more conscious humanity from this unrelenting bombardment of mind-altering frequencies. I say more conscious, as those who have dipped below the watermark in spiritual connection are more difficult to reach with the TZO-Lectic radiance. This spiritual connection does not require a belief system or any knowledge of this science. It is the frequency itself in the soul-engendered being that sustains and guides us. This template that I'm showing you here is a helpful manifest for those who resonate with it. In concert with the protocol, it is especially potent. You can save the image and place it on your phone. It doesn't have to be the wallpaper, just having it in your phone connects the device to that field and then to your field. We know cell phones emit harmful pulses. However, these pulses can be co-opted by positive and healing frequencies. The TZO-Lectic grid or field of the planet is especially sensitive to the natural shungite field. Placing a shungite sticker on your phone and the above template in your phone together would create a good combined field. And so now we go into the actual TZO-Lectic protocol that Thoth gave me 3 years ago. Touch the third finger of your right hand to your heart. Say aloud or silently, I am at the center of the TZO-Lectic field. I am projecting my higher energy frequency to all Nadis nodes on Earth. I am Gaia's channel to quicken and connect them to the TZO grid. They are now activated, connected, and working in synergic harmony for the full restoration of the planet. All violations are hereby in this instant nullified. I summon the angelic powers to assist in the activation. And so it is. The written version of this protocol is to be found on my Substack article about the TZO-Lectic, and I will put a link to that below this video.